Here in Chicago, Bears did not win a division game last year, lead the NFC North. 5 of their final 8 are against NFC North opponents. Getting ready for the Lions right now, down to the field in Laura Oakland.
Chris, it was a huge ovation when Khalil Mack stepped on the field, but the question now is how long will he stay on it? The head coach, Matt Nagy, told me the hope is to use him a lot, but he said it'll be similar to the Green Bay game plan. It depends on how he looks and feels. In that game, Mack played 42 snaps, but Chris, with 1 sack and 1 pick six, it was 42 very effective snaps.
All right, thank you very much. Temperature in the 30s. It's sunny with light wind. Lions won the toss, deferred, so the Bears back to receive this rivalry, longest running annual series in the NFL. Both teams have met at least once a season, going back to 1930, and Week 10 underway with the Lions and Bears. And a touchback out to the 25-yard line as the Bears offense led by 24-year-old Mitchell Trubisky, 16 touchdown passes. And his completion percentage just over 64%, and has led, despite the fact this is 21st straight start. Darrell, he had a streak of 3 straight 300-yard passing games in October. None in the last 2 weeks, but as you pointed out, has led them to back-to-back victories.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things. They're finding different ways to win football games, and that's the most important thing during this process under Matt Nagy in his first year.
Trubisky hands off to Jordan Howard, a healthy chunk of yardage up across the 34-yard line, and Howard comes in as the main back. Tariq Cohen certainly compliments him. Kevin White, Javon Williams, both inactive at the receiver position and playing on without Kyle Long, although his presence still felt.
Yeah, and that offensive line will have to hold up against this front. But the big thing about this offense, and we talked to Tariq Cohen about it, is everybody knows multiple positions, so they can line up throughout the formation, which will give the defense fits.
After a gain of 9, a quick pass, and moving for a first down. Cohen. This Lions defense, 24 sacks this year. That's the same number as the Bears. Usually you don't think of them in that specific way, but they are giving up a lot of yards on the ground.
Yeah, they are, and that'll be interesting to see how this Bears offense decides to attack. But I think it's just a question of being in the first year and the adjustment to the way that Matt Patricia, Paul Pasqualoni, the defensive coordinator, are teaching this system. There's good players there. Jared Davis is going to be fun to watch this afternoon at that middle linebacker spot.
First down from the 37. Trubisky to Cohen, who is averaging over 4.5 yards a carry, and he's second on the team in catches. Does a lot of things well, including punt returns.
But that's a little changeup right there. We talked to Glover Quinn as the Bears come up and try to pick up the tempo here. He doesn't expect Tariq Cohen to be the inside runner. That should be Jordan Howard.
Trey Burton to the bottom of your screen. On second down, Trubisky's first throw across the 45. Helmet comes off, but the catch made by Anthony Miller. And just short, depending on the spot, of the first down marker.
Good soft spot right there in between the 2 linebackers, but that's what happens when 2 guys are converging on you.
Quick snap, Trubisky's throw. There's Trey Burton for a first down catch, brought down around the 46-yard line of the Lions by Deshaun Shedd. Remember, Darius Slay is out with a knee injury in that Lions secondary.
Yeah, a little combination here, 3rd and short, and you fake the run. There's some confidence right there with your chemistry between Mitchell Trubisky and Trey Burton.
And the tempo is upbeat as Cohen is the back. After a gain of 9.
Hey, Buccaneer! Hey, go 40.
Trio of receivers to the left of Trubisky. He goes to Cohen, a juggling catch at the 40, and he held on.
It was something that Mitchell told us last week before the Bills game, and then it was confirmed by Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen this week. The confidence that Mitchell Trubisky has, the growth he's had right here at the line of scrimmage controlling the offense. You can see it here on this opening drive.
Hey, missile! Missile! Sunday!
After a gain of 8. Another quick toss for a first down. He's inside the 25. Allen Robinson taking it inside the 5. It'll be first and goal Bears. And quickly to the line they go. After a gain of 35 yards.
Great job on the run after the catch by Allen Robinson.
Tariq Cohen trying to find a hole, and he's into the end zone for a Bears touchdown.
Yeah, you could see some of the Lions players right there having a conversation, and that's the hardest thing. It's inside zone right here. Great feel by Tariq Cohen, and again, it's that changeup, just a little bit of a changeup. Glover Quinn telling us, hey, we've got to be aware of the personnel. When Jordan Howard's in the game, it's going to be this style of run. When Tariq Cohen, it's going to be this style. On that opening drive, twice, it was kind of a Jordan Howard play that was more to Tariq Cohen.
Officials confirming the scoring play as Cohen gets credit for his second rushing touchdown, his 5th of the season overall for this Bears team, and waiting to add the extra point as Cody Parkey.
Sir, will you remind him, watch him coming through my long snapper's head?
He's getting ready to kick that extra point.
Yeah, great feel right there. The bounce, the feel in close.
And you pointed out the quick pace and command that Trubisky showed, and Allen Robinson, the groin injury that kept him out the last couple of weeks after 25 catches. His 35-yard catch and carry set up the Cohen run, and it capped a 75-yard opening drive that lasted more than 3.5 minutes. Touchdown confirmed. And here comes the extra point. Cody Parkey hits the upright from 33 yards away. Not a given anymore. He's had some issues. But Trubisky goes 5 out of 5, 4 different receivers, and Cohen punches it in, and the Bears lead it here 6-0. That's a sound a kicker doesn't want to hear. First missed extra point this season for Cody Parkey. He was 28 of 28. He's missed on some field goals, but now, and everything looked right on that, the snap, the hold by Pat O'Donnell. He's kicking off to TJ Jones. And Jones on the bounce, lets it go out to the 25-yard line. Comes the Lions offense, and 30-year-old Matthew Stafford now in his 10th season, 121st consecutive start. That's the 7th longest ever.
But strange this year, this offense has not taken that next step. Last season, it's had some high rankings, and we expected to see that next step taken by the group, but they just haven't been able to do it. Last year, 13th overall, 7th in scoring, 21st overall, 20th in scoring this year.
Trying to respond to the Bears' 4th opening drive touchdown this season. And a quick pass and the catch made by Kenny Golladay, who played his high school football at St. Rita here in the Chicago area. And this offense moving on without Golden Tate, as you know, traded at the deadline to the Philadelphia Eagles. Quick snap, Kerryon-Johnson has it, and he gets across the 35-yard line.
And you know that this offense was just waiting to get back on the field after giving up 10 sacks to Minnesota last week. You want to get that taste out of your mouth. But this is the good defensive front that they'll be going up against, especially with Khalil Mack back out there on the field.
Yeah, the Bears were the leader in sacks until Mack went out a couple of games ago with an injury. As the catch is made by Levine Toilolo. And back-to-back first downs for the Detroit Lions. Luke Wilson inactive with a shoulder injury, but Toilolo and Michael Roberts at the tight end position. Roberts with 3 touchdowns this year for the Lions. Stafford and this Lions team, 3 straight wins against Chicago, and the Lions have won 9 out of the last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Bears.
Hey, alert, alert! Alert, alert! Tag 58! Tag 58! Hey, Lenny! Luigi! Mix up!
From the Chicago 48, there's a flag down as Johnson is knocked backward by Khalil Mack. Bears may have moved. There was some movement pre-snap.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Alex Kemp, our referee, in the call against Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, unfortunate because he did a nice job against the run. It was Khalil Mack that got the tackle, but it was actually Leonard Floyd who held the line of scrimmage that allowed that running play to get muddled up and allowed Khalil Mack to chase it down from the backside.
And the Bears had a rash of penalties on the road last week in Buffalo. They've been pretty good about that through the course of the season until then. So 1st and 5 now. Stafford to throw, pressure coming, and he's going to be sacked. Bryce Callahan coming in from his defensive back position.
Well, the 10 sacks last week were a little bit of everything. Matthew Stafford holding the ball a little bit too long. Sometimes it was just guys getting beat in the offensive line. Here's a protection breakdown. You've got a blitzer coming clean off the edge. So not a great start for the Lions. One of the worst things you can have is a doubt in how your protection matches up against the defensive scheme.
The look of Stafford after a loss of 9. He took some responsibility for some of those sacks last week, saying I could get rid of the ball faster. Theo Riddick is in. Protection here. Catch made, knocked down right away back at the original line of scrimmage. Marvin Jones on the catch where the penalty had placed them. It'll bring up 3rd and about 5.
There's a good little snap right here at this stage of the game, and a response by this Lions offense trying to match that great opening series by the Bears. Critical 3rd down right here to stay on the field.
Receiver in motion is Kenny Golladay to the bottom of your screen. It's a handoff, and Kerryon Johnson gets inside the 40. Aaron Lynch the stop, but does not get the first down. The Lions came in with the second fewest 3 and outs on offense, and they've showed you here how they can move the ball against a very good defense. And Matt Patricia, defensive-minded coach coming from the Patriots, although originally an offensive line coach, and did coach some on offense. And here on 4th and 1.5 yards or so, the Lions are going for it. Patricia's mind is made up. The pitch to Johnson. Hit, but there he goes for a first down. Gets through that initial charge by the Chicago Bears, and the Lions keep the drive alive.
Great job, because here's your penetration right here up the field. Aaron Lynch kind of bottles this whole thing up. I thought he was going to have it stuffed. That's a great job by Kerryon Johnson.
Johnson out of Auburn, drafted in the 2nd round, 43rd overall. He was the 6th running back taken. And an appropriate name for a running back, Kerryon. And the Lions have carried forward in position now from the Chicago 30. Stafford, the quick pass. There was some of part of a rush there. He had to angle that throw a little bit, and incomplete.
Well, again, there's something that the Bears have seen in the protections with the Detroit Lions. Now that's just going to be a hot. You've got Bryce Callahan coming again off that side. You've got coverage dropping in to pick up the hot receiver. But it looks like defensive coordinator Vic Fangio right now has found some stuff in their protection where he's getting a free guy off that edge from the secondary.
And against the Jets, we saw Callahan do that a lot. Wasn't needed last week in the win over the Bills by this Bears team. Kerryon Johnson gets inside the 30. It'll bring up 3rd down. Danny Trevathan making the play on defense. The rookie running back for the Lions, rushing for over 100 yards twice this season. The first Lion with a 100-yard rushing game since Reggie Bush all the way back in 2013. Part of the overall vision that Matt Patricia has for this offense and this team. And he said his quarterback, Matthew Stafford, gets his vision. Stafford in trouble, and he's thrown to the ground at the 38 by the rookie Roquan Smith. His third sack of the year.
Now this is really tough. You struggled all last week trying to keep your quarterback clean, and you start off this game with a couple of sacks, and it's a nice job by Roquan Smith because it's called a green dog. Now he's in coverage. He's waiting to see what happens. As soon as the running back, his responsibility stays in the backfield to help up and shore up that protection, he comes on a delayed blitz.
Matt Prater trying a field goal from 55 yards away. Now, we said there wasn't much wind, but in the pregame, looks like we're going to have a timeout by the Lions. Those kicks were tough to make. With Matt Patricia looking on, we'll take a timeout. Bears leading, Lions trying to get 3. The Lions used a timeout. Matt Prater staying on the sideline. Here comes the punt team. Remember, they fired Joe Marciano, the longtime special teams coach. Devin Fitzsimmons, the assistant, taking over that position for Matt Patricia and the Lions. And so now Tariq Cohen drops back as Sam Martin, the punter, stands near midfield. Lions will have 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half. Fair catch waved, and has at the 7-yard line. Quick recap of the Bears season, leading the NFC North. Big moves before the year. Matt Nagy coming over from Kansas City, first-time head coach. They trade for Khalil Mack, leading the NFC North. There are 3 losses, by the way, by 11 total points. And today, 5 games left against their division opponents. And they got moved to Sunday night with the Vikings. And then they have to turn around and play early against the Lions in Detroit on Thanksgiving. With Matt Nagy and Matt Patricia, it's the first time in NFL history 2 head coaches named Matt are facing each other.
Digging deep for that one. Digging deep.
It's Jordan Howard. Well, we also have 2 quarterbacks that you could call them by shorter names, but he prefers Matthew Stafford, and over on the other side, he prefers Mitchell Trubisky.
And there's the big thing that they've got to get taken care of. And it was funny this week talking with Matt Nagy. He does not want his guys worried about that at all. They're focused on the Lions. That's it. They all know that they've got 3 games coming up in the next 12 days, but it's a 1 game at a time mentality. And he's trying to do everything he can to get that divisional record flipped around. They've really struggled over the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, Nagy said, let's create our own history. 2 backs in the backfield, and it's Cohen. He was back there with Mizell. Cohen carries short of the first down.
And that's where we expect to see Tariq Cohen running the football out on the edge. So that opening series when the Bears went right down the field, a little bit of that zone read in between the tackles for Tariq Cohen. So that means, his ability now is starting to grow. He becomes even a bigger threat because defenses can't really rely on being able to know exactly how you're going to run the football when he's in there. It's not just the edge anymore.
Back-to-back runs. Bears 4th in rushing attempts. Overall this year, they average 29 a game. A couple of people pointing. Flags fly on 3rd and 4. If it's against the Lions, it's a first down.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 42. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down for Chicago.
A couple of big mistakes here in these last couple of series by the Lions, and we talked about consistency during transition. Matthew Stafford, veteran quarterback, they do the 4th down to get him closer for field goal range. He takes a sack on 3rd down, forces that decision to punt the ball down here. Now a penalty on 3rd and 4 to give the Bears a new set of downs. They got to get these mistakes cleaned up.
Trubisky hands to Cohen. Not a lot of running room there. And Damon Harrison, acquired from the Giants this season, up front to make the tackle. To the line without a huddle on 2nd and 8. Cohen remains the back. Trubisky 5 out of 5 on that opening drive of 75 yards.
Run!
From the pocket. And right in between a couple of defenders is Allen Robinson to midfield. His second catch of the game.
This is a great throw because you've got two seam routes, but they actually get a little bit close together. Quandre Diggs is going to funnel him to the outside a little bit. Look how close they get right there, so it's easy for Nevin Lawson to come off of his guy to try and make a play on the ball.
28-yard pickup.
Trash! What is this? Yeah. Rip. Sunday.
From the 49, Trubisky. Second receiver finds somebody, and the catch made by Ben Braunecker, the tight end, coming off the concussion. And healthy today.
Ben Braunecker getting downfield. This is a nice adjustment because he's just running a little stop route right there. He sees his quarterback in trouble, makes the adjustment, and he gets Nevin Lawson to have his back turned to the football.
A 20-yard pickup, and Trubisky showing if the primary guy isn't available, I'm going somewhere else. Deion Sims inactive today, out with a concussion in that tight end rotation. So it's Braunecker after Trey Burton and then Daniel Brown.
And that was one of the fears of the secondary, especially the safeties for the Lions, is Mitchell Trubisky outside the pocket. They wanted to keep him contained, make him throw from within that pocket.
After that gain of 20, the Bears are going to use a timeout. Moving once again.
I hope defensive back coach Brian Stewart was paying as much attention as our camera guys were, because we have a little bit of confusion and some tempers flaring in the secondary right now for the Lions. Giving up some big plays in the pass game early. Looks like there's some concern about who's supposed to be responsible in coverage.
Pogo, Larry.
Trubisky 7 out of 7, already over 100 yards. And set to throw again, and has time, and is going deep for the end zone. Knocked away at the last moment. Trying to get to Taylor Gabriel, the speedy receiver, and Quandre Diggs knocked it away.
Yeah, the hard part about Taylor Gabriel is it's all or nothing. Sometimes he's that quick screen guy. You would expect that out of that bunch formation, but they come out and they get vertical right away. Kind of a little double move. Nice job by Quandre Diggs. He was involved in that little discussion in between the timeout last play.
And earlier I mentioned Ben Braunecker making a catch, his first catch since 2016. It was a career long against this Lions secondary. Cohen is in on 2nd and 10.
40. Ready! What's that?
Trubisky has it. A quick flip to Cohen, who's in some trouble here. And the Lions were ready for that. Thrown back at the 37, 38-yard line. Christian Jones leading the Lions. Let's get a game break. Say hello to Mike Hill. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Chris. Hey, the Browns trying to get it going. They've lost 4 in a row, taking on Atlanta, and Baker Mayfield trying to make things happen. Finds Rashad Higgins for 28 yards and the score. Cleveland on top 7-0. The 7 points in the first quarter, a season high for Cleveland. Back to you guys.
All right, the Falcons had been on a roll, but on the road in Cleveland. And the Browns trying to snap a 4 straight game losing streak and leading early against the Falcons. After a loss of 5, 3rd down. First quarter winding down. Trubisky, Robinson, Allen Robinson, touchdown Bears.
Deshaun Shedd plays this perfectly, but he never gets his eyes turned around. He never is able to look back on the football because it's underthrown, and he's trailing. Right now, he's trailing. He's trying to get back in there. This ball's underthrown. If he turns around too late. And I don't know if that was great location or just fortunate for the Bears, but what a spot for that throw by Mitchell Trubisky.
And Shedd in there more because Darius Slay, knee injury out. Slay, their best cover corner. And this extra point is good. 36-yard touchdown toss has this place jumping. Trubisky to Allen Robinson. Robinson's 3rd catch of the game. Allen Robinson with a touchdown catch, a season high 98 yards on 3 receptions. inactive the last couple of weeks, as we mentioned, but he signed that 4-year contract as an unrestricted free agent back in March after 4 seasons with the Jags, adding some parts around Trubisky and this Bears offense. TJ Jones lets it go. Touchback out to the 25. Well, we hope you can help people affected by the California wildfires. Visit redcross.org. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or text CA Wildfires to 90999. Make a $10 donation. Whatever you can give, we appreciate your support.
And I know this touches home to you because you actually, flying in Thursday night, as you were getting on the plane, got the evacuation notice, and your wife and son were back home and had to get out.
Had to evacuate. Thankfully, the house survived. Many not so lucky, but we're hoping for the best there as the firefighters are doing an outstanding job in California, and an outstanding job on the Bears defense as LeGarrette Blount goes nowhere.
Pivotal series early in the game right here for this Lions offense. They've got to get something here. Obviously, points is great, but boy, you do a 3-and-out right here and get that Bears offense back on the field, you could be in trouble early.
Lions had moved the ball well in that initial series, but a couple of sacks as the first quarter looks like Stafford's going to let the first quarter come to an end. Tariq Cohen with that Chicago stare. He scored first, then a Trubisky touchdown toss to Robinson, and it's 13-0 Bears. Along with Daryl Johnston, Laura Oakland down on the field, Chris Myers. We're glad to have you watching with us from Soldier Field in Chicago after the opening quarter. Bears in control.
2 sacks already. To me, that's the critical thing. Obviously, you're down 13, but this is a group that gave up 10 sacks responsibility across the board on that offense, and you gave up 2 in the first quarter.
Bear offense has not been stopped on 2 drives, 2 lengthy scoring drives. Pass caught across the 30, just short of the first down as Theo Riddick, who has lined up some as a slot receiver without Golden Tate, but he's always been, as a running back, more of a receiver.
Yeah, but a different set, different skill set, getting out there into those slot positions and really trying to take over for Golden Tate, who had a great knack playing that slot position.
And Riddick back after missing a couple of games with a knee injury. Golden Tate was the team's leading receiver. As Stafford said, we all have to share in making up for that. Nick Bellore comes in at fullback. Straight ahead to try and get the first down, ran into a wall. But it looked like Bellore, who's over 6 feet and 250, plowed his way forward.
You got a lot of big bodies for the Bears down there. There's really no movement, and the contact, you can see him go down short. He's short of that line to gain for the first. So another critical decision for Matt Patricia.
And inside his own 35, Patricia's not going to gamble here. They'd gone earlier on a 4th down and converted. That was an excellent defensive stand. And they only needed less than a yard. The Bears keep the Lions from gaining, so Sam Martin is back out to punt. And the Lion defense will be on the spot to try and keep this game from getting away from them. Tariq Cohen, fair catch waved for at the 29-yard line. Mitchell Trubisky, 9 out of 10, over 135 yards and a touchdown, takes over once again. Lions first-year head coach Matt Patricia after 14 seasons with the Patriots.
Yeah, and it's going to be it's a bumpy road. Not everybody gets what Matt Nagy has right here. Now, Vic Fangio was there on the defensive side of the ball. He kept that side intact, and Matt Patricia tried to do the same thing. Jim Bob Cooter's there on the offensive side of the ball, but just not having that same easy transition that the Bears are having.
As Cohen carries, and Trubisky talking to us about how nice it is to have a head coach who has been a quarterback, been a play caller, offensive minded. Got a little extra chatter going on down here as the Lions upset about the first 2 possessions of the Bears. Not only the result, a touchdown, but the way they chewed up the clock and the distance traveled for Matt Nagy, who said, hey, his relationship with Trubisky is only going to get better. The 2 of them working together have a long way to go. So far, so good. Trubisky. Catch made even though the throw was low, and Cohen gets a first down, slipping out of bounds.
It was kind of funny talking about Tariq Cohen and talking to Jordan Howard. We had an opportunity to visit with them together, and the one thing that they did is when you have a new coach come in and he does the install, he's going to go back and show you his previous place of employment. So for Matt Nagy, that's the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're watching this offense with all those explosive players out in Kansas City and imagining how that's going to fit into their personnel. There's a key cog right there. Tariq Cohen, perfect fit for this offense.
At midfield, maximizing every gain on every play in terms of yards as Trey Burton makes a catch. Let's get a game break. Say hello again to Mike Hill.
Hey, the Saints' hottest team in football right now, going for their 8th straight, taking on Cincinnati. Drew Brees on the screen to Mark Ingram. 28 tough yards to the end zone, making it 14-7 Saints over the Bengals in the second. The 508th career TD pass to Brees, time to regret Favre for second all time.
All right, thank you, Mike, from the 45 of Detroit. On second down, Trubisky well protected, wide open. Anthony Miller slips a tackle. Miller to the end zone. Touchdown, Bears. "45 yards.
Well, we got a couple of breakdowns in coverage that we've seen already today. Here's another one. Wide open. You can see hands pointing. And now Glover Quinn, who's your leader back there on the back end, the last line of defense, with a missed tackle that results in a touchdown.
Miller with his 3rd touchdown catch of this season. Make that his 4th, a rookie from Memphis. And the extra point. That's 2 now that have been missed as Parkey hit the upright. Trubisky, though, over 200 yards passing and 2 touchdown tosses.
Nice job by Pat O'Donnell handling that inside snap. Gets it down, but same result as earlier.
It's the only thing that hasn't gone right for Chicago so far today. Trubisky, you go back to the first half against the Buccaneers, he set Bear records with 5 touchdowns and 289 yards. He's already got a couple of touchdowns here. On the return, Jones for the Lions gets to the 20, and then after that, nowhere. Saturday on the road for the college football playoffs continues. Number 4 Michigan against Indiana. See that on FS1. And the number 6 Oklahoma going up against Kansas over on Fox. So you can catch it all on the Fox Sports app.
Talked about finding different ways to win games last week for the Bears. It was their defense. Their offense only had 11 first downs and 190 total yards. Right now they've got 10 first downs and 232 total yards.
Carry on Johnson the back. Stafford throws to Johnson, and he is knocked down by Eddie Jackson. You mentioned that Trubisky and that Bears offense, their drives, Daryl, not just touchdowns, drives of 75 yards, 91 yards, and 71 yards.
And all have big plays involved in each one of them. You know, the short pass with the long run by Allen Robinson on the first touchdown drive, that's 35 yards, 36-yard touchdown pass, big touchdown pass on the last one to finish that one by Anthony Miller. So getting some big chunks against that Lions defense.
Stafford hands off to Jackson, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. 3 Bears are right there. Matthew Stafford is used to leading comebacks, as he's made a career of that, but usually that's late in the game when you're within striking distance. Already down 19 with under 10.5 to go before the half.
And that was one of the big things you see when you look at their games so far this year. When they get into trouble, the run-pass ratio gets completely out of sync, but they've stayed close the whole game. That was by choice. Today that could be different. As you pointed out, down 19-0 already. How long do you keep working on that run game before you start switching to the pass?
They've run it 7 times. They've thrown it 6. Stafford It's intercepted. Brian Callahan. Bryce Callahan, with the pick and goes to the ground and ruled a clean interception by Bryce Callahan. The defense picture perfect last week against Buffalo. That would be the 22nd takeaway for the Bears this year, and that equals the number they had for all of last year.
Bryce Callahan, he's in the slot, playing the slot. Good job by Kyle Fuller funneling Kenny Golladay out wide. And there you got two guys in the same area. Your receiver falls down. These guys, you can preach takeaways. You can work on it at practice all the time. But we see some teams it just does not transfer to Sunday. The Bears have been able to take that mentality and bring that to the field every Sunday.
Yeah, it was Marvin Jones that fell down. They're just double checking. And it certainly looks like a clean pick by Bryce Callahan. Confirming, as they do, all turnovers, and it has been confirmed, just like scoring plays.
You see right there, tied for most in the NFL. But the great thing about it, you know, they've got a number of different players who are a part of that 15.
40.
And they usually produce points off their turnovers. Howard and Cohen in the backfield, now split out as a receiver is Cohen. Trubisky moving around, and for the end zone, there wasn't a whole lot to go to. Allen Robinson was back there, but I mentioned when they take it away, the Bears get points out of it. That has made the offense and Trubisky a little bit more comfortable.
The big thing is if the defense isn't taking it back, they're putting the offense on short fields. Last week against the Bills, their touchdown drives were just 37, 23, and 50 yards, thanks to the defense.
Bryce Callahan is in on offense with Allen Robinson. That's Callahan in motion here. We're going to have a timeout, and the Lions use a timeout. That was an interesting move. The guy makes the defensive play with an interception, and they bring him in on offense. Now this from Bose. Packers play later in the NFC North. The Vikings are idle. So it was interesting. They had both Eddie Jackson and Callahan in on that last offensive set after the Lions timeout. Back to the guys who play offense full time.
Yeah, Matt Nagy keeping it fun for the guys on the defense, keeping them engaged when their group is on the sideline.
Yeah. That's Miller in motion. He had the touchdown catch a moment ago. Trubisky trying to escape, but he does. Mitchell Trubisky is loose and run out of bounds, and an extra shove. Here comes a flag. Jarrad Davis overdid it.
Yeah, again, we've talked about mistakes. We've seen the secondary for the Lions in discussion. We've seen tempers flare with their own group, and here comes another one. Jarrad Davis in this situation, you can't make these plays. Your team is on the cusp of just getting ready to get blown out, and you've got them wrapped up here, and there's absolutely no need for that. You almost get somebody hurt on the sideline who's working for the NFL on top of that. I mean, you're into the green. You're not even in the white anymore.
Now Davis frustrated. Trubisky second among quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to running the football. He averages 8 yards a carry. And A'Shawn Robinson of the Lions is the injured player back at the 27, 28 yard line.
Just an unbelievable job by Mitchell Trubisky getting away from everybody. I thought he was down twice, and he was able to break free and get out in the open field.
Yeah, only Cam Newton has more rushing yards this season than Trubisky, and we hope that Robinson, one of the defensive linemen, is okay. And they were chasing Trubisky. We'll take a closer look. Watch for number 91 as he's being helped to the sideline.
Personal foul. Defense number 40 for shoving the quarterback out of bounds. That's half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down, Chicago.
So after a terrific play by Trubisky, Lions penalty tacked on. And 1st and goal for the Bears.
That element that you just can't account for, the ability of a quarterback like Mitchell Trubisky to navigate through that pass rush. The Lions had him dead to rights a couple of times there, and he's able to get free and get a positive play and get more tacked on after the penalty.
Bear L. Hey, 15.
Hey, 15. Ready? What's up?
Trubisky for the end zone, and Robinson. Here comes a flag. Nevin Lawson on the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense number 24. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Trubisky last week had nearly 100 yards off the board because of pass interference penalties. 2 touchdowns today and over 200 yards on 1st and goal. That's Horton.
Hey, 6-1.
Jordan Howard is the back. And the Bears get a little closer. Everybody comes in tight. Flag is Howard. Eventually, it's not ruled a touchdown yet. Looked like he had worked his way through the crowd.
Ricky Jean-Francois pointing that it's on the Bears. That'd be a big penalty, taking him back outside the 5-yard line.
Could be formation.
Illegal formation offense. Number 72 was on the end of the line, and then he got covered up. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Explain on the end of the line, covered up. That's Charles Leno is the call.
Yeah, well, Charles Leno is an ineligible receiver, so to that side, he's going to have to be uncovered. And you saw the wide receivers from the outside. Now they move back inside, and you've got to know where your alignment is. And unfortunately, Anthony Miller lined up on the line of scrimmage and covered him up,
Hey, Bear!
creating an illegal formation.
The correct call, and thank you. Further explanation. Dean Blandino, our rules analyst, watching closely, spotted that as well. And inside the 5, interesting, shoved back to the 4-yard line is Trey Burton from the tight end spot. Boy, talk about creative calls down here by Matt Nagy.
Well, I think it's one of the areas, you get down here and it really does shift to the defensive side of the ball because they've got so much less ground to cover that you've got to become creative in your play design. And we've seen that play picked up by a number of different offenses around the NFL, the kind of the ride on the zone read and then kind of that little flip underneath that ends up being a pass. So even if it goes to the ground, it's incomplete.
Hey, we got Bears!
Hey, grade 15, grade 15.
It's like another timeout. See, the play clock was ready to roll down, so rather than lose yardage there, take the timeout. Well, I think, we said last week we thought the Bears were ahead of schedule, and they're in a key spot, leading the division, fighting to hang on with these divisional games, and first taking care of business. A team that had their number, the Lions, the last few times they ran into each other.
Yeah, 9 out of the last 10. So it was something that Matt Nagy didn't want to discuss with his team overall. He just wanted them focused on the Lions. And I think that was one of the cooler things we heard this weekend visiting with him is there's a difference between tradition and past. And he wants the players to embrace the storied history, the storied tradition of the Bears franchise with all the great players that were there. But he doesn't want them tied to some of the negative things from the past. So the way they've struggled in the division the last few years, hey, that was those guys. That's not us. We're gonna rewrite our own history here. So this will be interesting to see how they navigate not only today but the next 12 days here as they've got 3 games coming up in the division.
And not outwardly but inwardly, that the Bears wanted to address this in head-to-head matchups with teams in their division. So far today they have. Trubisky will keep. And to the end zone, touchdown, Mitchell Trubisky. And a spike big time. That's his 3rd rushing touchdown this year to go along with what is now 18 touchdown passes.
Great execution, though. Watch the block right here. The timing, Jordan Howard, it's almost perfect timing, and that's the hard part about the quarterback draw. Sometimes that block is initiated and happens too quickly, and he's able to bounce off and make the tackle. But that was really nice timing by Jordan Howard on the block.
Yeah, and I wouldn't go anywhere because Matt Nagy has talked about his team having an aggressive mentality, regardless of what the score is. And there, look at the Bear fans here with a extra hard cheer on the Parkey extra point. But it started with another defensive takeaway, and then Trubisky takes it in. Mitchell Trubisky leading this offense, 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. He's thrown for 2 and now run for 1. Already 245 yards of offense for the Chicago Bears team. And the defense again helping to set things up. 26-0. And a touchback out to the 25-yard line. The NFL deeply committed to Salute to Service, the league's year-round effort to honor, empower, and connect with our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Join all of us in thanking those who bravely serve our country and generate an NFL donation to its military nonprofit partners. You can help by visiting NFL.com/salute. And some 15 years ago, when he had a chance to work on a U.S. Navy submarine, Matt Patricia had friends going off to war overseas and grew a beard out of respect, knowing that they would be in rough spots in difficult situations. As the catch is made by Golladay, and the ball comes out at the end. Let's see what the officials rule. He's down. Catch, first down, Lions.
And if the Lions are going to get back in this game, that's somebody they've got to find a way to get the football to. Over the last 3 games, just 7 targets with 6 catches.
Quick snap. Kerryon Johnson. And there's a challenge flag out. And let's see if they got it in time. It had to come out before the snap. The official will make the call.
It looks like the official is saying no, he didn't.
The challenge flag was not thrown until after the ball was snapped. There is no challenge.
Let's take a look. The fans thought otherwise. So the challenge flag laid according to the officials. Blunt and Johnson in the backfield on second down. Blunt goes nowhere. Inside the 35, the Bear defense is there.
All right, now what are you going to do with this possession? Because we saw that highlight. It sure looked like the ball was coming out from Kenny Golladay before he was down. But the hustle to the line of scrimmage to get it snapped by the Lions preserves that possession. What are they going to do with this? They're going to go miss this third down. They're in 3rd and long.
Well, they passed up a 4th and short last time around after converting early on a 4th and short. But it's already 26-0. On 3rd and 12, here comes the pressure. Stafford dumps it off for Golladay, who makes the catch, and good enough for a first down. Up around the 48-yard line of the Lions.
I think the offense has to find a way to get Kenny Golladay more involved. There's a couple. I think Michael Roberts had a big game against the Dolphins, one of those wins we talked about at the top.
And Stafford said, despite what the offense does, we need to produce more points. And right now,
59.
nothing on the board yet.
Ready.
After a gain of 13, Stafford on first down. And inside the 40, maintaining his balance, is Marvin Jones. Jones was the one who slipped earlier when the Bears had the interception. It's worth pointing out this field was resodded during the week. The field looks natural grass, terrific, in great shape considering how cold it is out here.
Yeah, amazing that they put down a new sod earlier in the week. I mean, it's amazing what they're able to do today with the conditions.
Track 58.
Slip.
From the 38-yard line of the Bears, Johnson Gets all the way inside the 30, a 9-yard pickup, and Mike Hill with a game break.
All right, Chris, Saints, the hottest team in the NFL, going for their 8th straight win in Cincinnati, and that goal looking good right now. Alvin Kamara with his 10th rushing TD of the season is 21-7 in the second. Chris Moose, Lord.
All right, thank you. And the team's chasing them in the NFC South as the Saints are on a roll. Carolina lost this week already. Atlanta is trailing, and Tampa Bay battling the Redskins. LeGarrette Blount knocked down with maybe a gain of a yard or two. Akeem Hicks up front. Hicks, one of those those defensive leaders, a one-time Patriot, coached by Matt Patricia.
Yeah, they know Akeem very well, and very complimentary of his play inside. I think you're going to always focus with Khalil Mack being here on the edge. That's one of the guys you have to take care of. But you better be aware of Akeem Hicks inside as well.
Best threat by the Lions today offensively. Stafford's throw, catch made on the sideline to the running back Johnson, inside the 20 and goes out of bounds.
Well, it's been a nice job by Jim Bob Cooter on this drive. He stayed balanced. You know, there's always the opportunity to panic at 26-0 here early in this or late in the second quarter. But this drive, there have been some runs. He's kind of remained balanced, and they've gotten into that rhythm. We talked about it at the top when they've won their games and played well. There's been a rhythm there. We hadn't seen it until this drive.
Sacks and an interception have hurt the Lions on previous drives in this half. Kerryon Johnson trying to get the first down, and eventually he does. Strung out before going out of bounds.
There's the guy that we were just talking about off the edge, Khalil Mack, and he's an unusual guy. I mean, he's extremely talented, just fluid in his movement.
Had an ankle injury, missing the last couple of games, but 5 sacks already. And as the members of the team, even on offense, it raised the level for all of us once we knew he was added to our team. A delay handoff. Johnson stopped around the 12-yard line. Roquan Smith had a sack earlier, the first-round rookie from Georgia making the tackle. Yeah,
and here's one of their huge struggles this season so far, the Lions offense in the red zone, and a lot of it are the negative plays. They've had a ton of sacks down here. They've had penalties. It's the number one rule. When you get into the red zone, you got to be spot on. You can't have negative plays, and they sure have popped up a lot for Jim Bob Cooter in this offense this season.
After a gain of 6. Johnson on a delay, and a pile of Bears, and that should take us to the 2-minute warning, and the Lions will be facing a 3rd down as Johnson is helped up on this Veterans Day. And salute to service around the NFL. We appreciate our military everywhere. Glad you're watching the NFL on Fox.
Troops on Air Base South Korea. Now I've got one message to say. Go Bears!
Troops rooting for the Bears and enjoying this one so far. Lions' first trip into the red zone here at Soldier Field on a 3rd and 4 for the end zone, and a flag. They were tugging on the jersey of Kenny Golladay.
Pass interference, defense, number 38. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down, Detroit.
Working out of the slot, trying to get into the corner of the end zone. Easy call for the officials.
Adrian Amos called for the penalty, and Stafford has a 1st and goal. They bring in an extra lineman here. Lions will be receiving the ball to start the second half. Also, Nick Bellore is in, the fullback, former linebacker, who had a carry earlier. LeGarrette Blount does not get in.
That's the second time. That's really impressive by that Bears interior defensive line. And they're just not getting any movement. Watch this. I mean, they just reestablish that line of scrimmage kind of into the Bears backfield, filling all the gaps. I mean, you've got Nick Bellore up front and LeGarrette Blount coming behind him, and there is just no movement.
And the Bears use a timeout here. That Lion offensive line without right guard TJ Lang, who is out with a neck injury. Don't forget the Visa halftime report, all the highlights of the games going on, and the Titans are leading the Patriots in the second quarter in that game. The Browns on top of the Falcons. Buffalo is pounding the Jets. And a second and goal here. 13th play of this drive coming up.
Even. Ready. Waiting. What's up?
LeGarrette Blount goes nowhere. Roquan Smith, one of those who got there early. Third and goal.
And there's a guy you're talking about, Roquan Smith, right there. Just a nice job seeing everything, and then the fill, being able to find your way through there, and as he's about to spin inside, shoring up that tackle.
Lions having trouble getting a yard.
Track 58.
Straight ahead, leaping in the air. And touchdown for Kerryon Johnson and the Lions on third and goal.
Just getting you to think a little bit. They bring him back into the backfield from the outside and just gets up there and elevates. The other times they're trying to push the pile. So you bring Kerryon Johnson in. He goes up over the top.
His second career touchdown. And the Lions finally break through. 75 yards. It took over 7 minutes. As Matt Prater lines up for the extra point. And he nails it. The rookie scoring for Detroit. And a 26-7 lead for the division-leading Bears here in the NFC North.
And we talked about this last week in the Bills game. They came out in that third quarter 28-0 at half. They come out, they get the ball, and they're very aggressive with their play calling. We talked to Matt Nagy about it. He goes, listen, it's all about aggressive play and finish. Those are the things that I preach to the guys, so I've got to do the same thing. So what do you do here? You know, 26-7, you got 1 minute and 5 left, no timeouts. They used a timeout late on that down by the goal line to preserve a little bit of clock. I think the way that he has talked to his team and what he's trying to build here, I think he's going to stay aggressive with his mentality and his play calling. They're going to come out and try and get some more points before the end of half.
Yeah, I mean, Nagy said, look, if I'm not aggressive as a play caller, then I'm not doing my part when I tell the players to stay aggressive regardless of the score and where we are in the game. And remember that drive, there was that Galladay fumble that they challenged, at least according to the official. The challenge flag came in too late by the Bears, so the Lions carried on, and Kerryon Johnson eventually took it into the end zone. This will bounce. Mizell has to take it. A perfect kick inside the 1. And Taquan Mizell is going to get smothered inside the 10-yard line. Under a minute to go. Lions will have one timeout. The Bears will take over on offense. The second-year quarterback, age 24, drafted number 2 overall a year ago, and is having a big first half.
He really is. And they've got those explosive plays down the field. Allen Robinson back in the fold. Also, Anthony Miller on the outside, and then he's had a couple of scrambles, and then there are a touchdown on his own on the quarterback draw, well executed.
And lengthy drives that Trubisky was able to finish with touchdowns. Missed extra points. Only thing that's gone wrong for the Bears today is Robinson is stopped right away around the 10-yard line. And let's see, did he... Yeah, they pushed him out of bounds, so that stops the clock. The Lions have a chance here if they can force a punt, but with only one timeout, it's going to be difficult.
A lot of times on that situation like they're in right here in a two-minute drive into the half, you want to come out and it's something simple. It's a draw. It's a quick screen. Do you get a big pop off that? Do you get a big play and then be able to roll into it? So we'll see if that impacts Matt Nagy's play calling here.
Cohen tackled right away. And we should see a timeout from the Lions unless they're just going to let this go. See, there is about a 5 or 6 second difference between the play clock and the game clock, and one remaining timeout. Again, the Lions set to receive the second half kickoff. A lot of crazy plays on that play sheet of Nagy, which we'll talk about. I mean, one of the plays had 21 words in it. I don't know how you can even remember it to say it, let alone execute it, but I know you have something for us in the second half to expound on that. Down to 3 seconds on the play clock. Handoff. Cohen knocked down right away. And they're going to let the clock run out to the half. The half dominated by these first place Bears. Cohen a touchdown run. Bears with a takeaway, get an interception, and Trubisky over 200 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and 1 touchdown run.
And as you pointed out, very efficient. They've come out and they've established that rhythm that everybody's looking for. And again, it was hard for Detroit. They're going through this transitional period. They're not ahead of the curve like the Bears are with a new first-year head coach. We've seen a couple of conversations during the course of the first half, maybe some coverages that were not executed the right way. And here's a great addition back into your lineup after 2 weeks being on the sideline.
And Trubisky was able to work with Robinson as he sat out with that groin injury after getting off to a fast start. He had 25 catches for this Bears team and touchdown grabs before going out with the injury. And both he and Khalil Mack missing the last 2 games, but against this divisional head-to-head run, and as Coach Nagy said, protecting our home turf. An impressive first half for the Chicago Bears. The Visa halftime report is coming your way in just a moment. Time for today's game flow, brought to you by Progressive. Here at Soldier Field, Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers getting ready for the second half. As perfect a first half, other than a few missed extra points, as you could have if you're the Chicago Bears. Big plays, scoring early, setting the tone, and your developing quarterback is having a heck of a performance.
Yeah, the big thing, the explosive plays, is an element that's been added to that West Coast style of offense that comes off the Andy Reid tree, aggressive down the field, but they don't make a lot of mistakes with it. And then you heard the guys at halftime talk about just 2 incompletions for Mitchell Trubisky.
P.J. Jones on the fly has some room to run, and a healthy return for the Lions. He scored right before the half and up near the 30-yard line. Well, I'm going to take this a little bigger, Daryl, because we know the Bears lead the division. It's an important division game as they go into this string. 5 of their remaining 8, including today, against NFC North teams. But this year, the NFC, Rams and Saints getting all the attention. But I would think that the Bears and the Vikings, in terms of the big picture, playoff picture with the NFC, will have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with staying under the radar for a little while. And as we focus on the Saints and the Rams and what they're doing, this team is starting to build themselves. We talked about it at the top. They're finding different ways to win games. And after their defense took control of everything last week for them against the Bills, it was their offense here in the first half that gave them the big lead.
And set to throw. Stafford floats one perfectly. And what a grab by Marvin Jones. Gets inside the 40-yard line.
Nice touch by Matthew Stafford on this pass. It's going to be tight coverage, and you kind of saw him when he was getting ready to release it, and he just put a little bit of touch on that right over the top of Kyle Fuller.
A gain of 32 yards down to the 38 of the Bears, and a thumbs-up play from Stafford to the Lion offense. Kerryon Johnson, who had the touchdown for Detroit, works down to the 34, and we work down to the field of Laura Oakman.
Hi, guys. Let me start with Matt Nagy, who told me what I love about this team is nobody's looking at the score. They're simply looking at the next play. Right now, defensively, we want to stop them on this drive. Offensively, we will stay aggressive. As for Matt Patricia, he said they're taking care of their game plan. We are not. Key to getting this drive going, execution. He said too many bad plays, and they've taken advantage of every one of them.
Thank you, Laura. With Garrett Blount now in the backfield. Stafford has been a comeback kid. 32 in his career. Has a ways to go here, but Lions on the move. Incomplete in the area of Jones and no flags.
And one of the names we haven't called is Khalil Mack, and they're doing a nice job against this Bears front. They had the 2 sacks in the first quarter, but steadied that ship in the second quarter, stayed clean.
And in a game of adjustments, and you saw how they've ended here, I'm surprised that Stafford has not thrown more. I know you said they want to be balanced, but when you're down like they are, to pass, have just 13 attempts, when you actually have the time of possession advantage. Now a 3rd and 6. Time. And a tough throw. Catch nearly made on the sideline. The coverage was good, but Kenny Golladay couldn't haul it in against Bryce Callahan.
Yeah, Bryce Callahan, great coverage on that play, and very fortunate that this was not another option or opportunity for an interception.
Callahan at his 4th year, we signed as a free agent from Rice. He's really fit well with Vic Fangio's defense and how he's used. It was one of those guys that was around very few when Fangio took over in Chicago as the defensive coordinator and then stayed on when Matt Nagy was hired. 52-yard try for Matt Prater. It's up there, it's out there, and it's through there. They passed up a 55-yarder in the first half and instead punted. But the Bear defense keeps the Lions out of the end zone. Detroit settles for 3. Part of Soldier Field here in Chicago in 1925. It was named Soldier Field when they hosted the Army-Navy game dedicated to U.S. soldiers who had died in combat on this Veterans Day. You know, when you think of Chicago, you think of the Navy Pier, Midway Airport, O'Hare. Butch O'Hare was a U.S. Navy Medal of Honor winner from World War II. Grant Park. And a salute to our troops. Mizell is on it after a bobble and knocked down initially short of the 20. We'll check the exact spot. By the way, for Prater, that 52-yarder, the 45th career field goal of 50 yards or more to help the Lions inch a little bit closer, and they're having to play catch-up because of the fast start by Trubisky in this Bear offense.
Yeah, but don't expect Matt Nagy to take his foot off the gas pedal. You heard Laura talk about staying aggressive, and that leads into finish. You know, during the course of the year, I mean, there are 3 losses. They led the Packers by 20, the Patriots by 10, the Dolphins by 11, and lost all those games. So it's going to be the same as we saw in the first half here.
And he comes out throwing. Plenty of time. And wide open middle of the field is Anthony Miller, who's racing through the Lions secondary. And down to the 25-yard line. There's a flag down back at the 30 of Chicago.
Illegal contact. Defense number 52. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
And you'll see that illegal contact right as Anthony Miller comes off the ball on the line of scrimmage. There it is right there. He's able to keep his feet, takes his defender off of his feet.
Miller, who had his 4th touchdown catch in the first half, is over 100 receiving yards. That was a 55-yard pickup. And Trubisky over 250 yards passing. Jordan Howard in the backfield. Tariq Cohen gets the pitch from the slot and runs out of bounds, going all the way across Soldier Field here.
So we're talking about that element. Now, this is a West Coast-based system. Now, everybody thinks about the West Coast as that ball control, high completion percentage, but look at the element that Andy Reid has added to it, that Doug Peterson uses in Philadelphia, Matt Nagy is using here. Andy's got it going out in Kansas City. They've added an explosive element to that controlled passing game that started out in San Francisco, and it's really giving people fits. You get a number of playmakers around you. They know all the different positions. You can move them throughout the formation, and you can turn a simple little pass like that to Anthony Miller to a 50-plus yard pass play.
Sometimes those lengthy plays are communication cause confusion. There's a timeout Bears as Nagy and Trubisky want to get on the same page.
My name is Sergeant First Class Terry Phillips, stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany with U.S. Army Europe. I want to say hi to my son and all my friends and family back home in Detroit, Michigan. Go Lions.
Lion fan hoping for a Detroit comeback and appreciate service for all the men and women in our military.
46 coming back.
Single.
Blue 80. What's that?
Jordan Howard, and the Lions smother him. And speaking of the military and salute to service, we have a veteran operates on our camera crew, Mike Ratuz. We thank him for his service. Works hard every week covering the NFL for Fox and serving his country. Thank you, Mike. Jason Carter also. There he is. Jason from California. Thanks for your service. On third down, Trubisky over the head of Robinson, who was well covered that time. Nevin Lawson was right with him. Here comes Cody Parkey.
A good job by that Lions defense. You have the big 50-plus play to get that drive jump started, and the defense comes out and holds you to a field goal attempt right here.
Finally slowing down this aggressive Bear offense. Parkey has missed 2 extra points. First field goal try today. 13 out of 16 for the season. 41 yards away, and that, boy, he can hit those uprights, can he? 3 times today he has hit the uprights, and he's hearing it from the fans here in Chicago.
Well, it's been a topic of conversation here, you know, all the way going back to the Robbie Gould trade, and here it is, his 3rd time.
Well, since they just haven't found a guy as good as Gould, and no pun intended. And
nothing is good as Gould.
You raised the concern. I'll do the jokes, you do the analysis. But if you're going to go to the playoffs in a tight game, you can't mess around with a guy who can't make extra points and makeable kicks.
Exactly. We've talked about the offense, the defense, special teams wise with Tariq Cohen as your punt returner. They've got a lot of key pieces in place. Cody Parker has got to kind of get this, or Parkey's got to get this sorted out.
Johnson fights hard to get through some of the Bear tacklers. The ball comes out, and Chicago has it. Adrian Amos. Another Bears takeaway. Never heard the whistle, never ruled down. And to Johnson's credit, he was just fighting for every yard that he could get before the fumble, forced fumble.
Yeah, but this has been a point that I know Matt Patricia talked to all his guys about during the course of the week. Great job by Prince Amukamara coming in and punching that football out. You can see it on film, how aggressive they are at attacking the football. So Kerryon Johnson knew that coming in here. Watch Prince Amukamara come in there, right? That's just excellent, seeing that opportunity for the punch out.
That's now the 23rd takeaway for the Bears this season in Week 10. They had 22 all of last year, and the return was excellent enough to set them up at the 21-yard line as the officiating crew reviewing to make sure. And it gets cleared and confirmed. And what a seismic shift here after the Lion defense finally kicked the Bears off the scoreboard with a missed kick. And now a turnover, and Trubisky flips to Cohen. And a tough hit in a crowd. It'll bring up a 2nd down. And Cohen is hurting. I mean, he's only 5'6". He's as tough a guy as you can meet. But hit hard. And looks like he's headed toward the Bears sideline. Quandre Diggs fired in there.
And a great job. Again, we're starting to see that targeting improve. There's an opportunity there to go helmet to helmet. He doesn't. It was great targeting, great placement by Quandre Diggs on that big hit.
Now, this is one of the things that balance, Daryl, you talked about, all right, having a sizable lead. You don't want to let anybody play catch up, but you don't in terms of keeping your team ready for these key games.
Hey, we got Bears,
Try to stay healthy. Defense setting up the offense here. Mizell and Howard in the backfield. And the handoff to Jaquan Mizell, who's looking for somewhere to go. Davis from his middle linebacker spot eventually making the tackle. Laura Oakman, I'm sure, will give us an update when she can on the health of Tariq Cohen, who looks like he was shaken up on that previous play.
But it swings in emotion. It swings in momentum. And the Lions come out. They have a nice drive, get some points on that opening drive. They give up the explosive play on the first Bears possession, but you miss the field goal, and your offense comes back out, turns it right back over. So right now, this is just kind of sitting out there as it goes back and forth here to start the third quarter to try and grab that momentum.
Miller on a pitch from Trubisky, but a good tackle kept him from getting the first down. It was Diggs again for Detroit, and a little shove there afterwards by Miller, and Diggs has said, how come no flag?
Yeah, that could have been costly. That's going to, that would have pushed you back a little bit further, put a little bit more doubt into Cody Parkey's head.
This will be a 34-yard try. Missed. He was to the right on a 41-yard try a moment ago. Toward the upright. Unbelievable. Can you believe this? He's hit 4 uprights today. If you paid him to do that, he couldn't do it. Well, that's a terrible sound for Bears kicker Cody Parkey explaining to Pat O'Donnell, the punter and holder, some of the issues today. 0 for 2 field goals, 2 for 4 extra points. He's hit the upright 4 times. Lions take over. Stafford on first down goes down inside the 20-yard line. It's a Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks combo sack.
Coming from the outside, you've got a tight end over there, but no help on the release. I don't know if you're primary right there, but you know how he can take a game over. We always would just, if we had a guy like Khalil Mack, there's certain guys you got a game plan for. You got to build a plan around. He's one of those types of guys. Backs and tight ends, a little bit of chip on the way out.
He can change the momentum of a game in one play. Loss of 4. Stafford underneath, Galladay running free, and Kenny Galladay gets up across the 40-yard line and good enough for a first down. Laura Oakman did update us that Tariq Cohen was on that tough hit. Okay, likely to return in the game that we saw moments ago. It's encouraging news for the Bears. And down 2 possessions. Of course, the Lions, if you're thinking broad strokes, there's Cohen. They need touchdowns, 2-point conversions. Try and battle into a tie and keep the Bears from getting any more. That's Johnson, who had the fumble a moment ago, and working his way outside and out of bounds. And there is a flag, it appears, at the 31.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 11. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Marvin Jones negates a solid run. Let's get a quick game break from Mike Hill.
Got a long run, though, Chris. The Browns trying to end a 4-game losing streak and looking good right now. Nick Chubb, the rookie out of Georgia, just doing it to Atlanta. 92 yards for the score. That is the longest run in Browns history. Baker Mayfield also has a career-high 3 touchdown passes in his 2018 Cleveland in the third.
And the Browns have already changed their head coach, hoping to change the direction of their team. Stafford batted at the line of scrimmage. He was trying to get to his tight end.
We batted down on the inside. And you're right, he has Michael Roberts open right there, coming in the middle of the field. But a good job timing that with getting your hand up into those throwing lanes.
And that penalty hurt on the after the Johnson run, so now 2nd and 20. Bears drop a safety all the way back to the 45. Stafford and Jones can't hang on. That's Marvin Jones. Prince Amukamara was with him on the coverage, and it's 3rd and long.
We've seen tight coverage all afternoon by the Bears secondary. And yeah, the ball has to come out quick, so they understand they've got a clock in their head too. A little bit of frustration from Matthew Stafford dealing with this tight coverage all afternoon by the Bears secondary.
He still only attempted 17 passes, completed 11 of those. The offensive coordinator pacing because the play clock is running down, and the timeout will be used by Detroit. And now this from Farmers Insurance. Bears might look into place kicking insurance. In defense of Parkey, he was perfect last week at Buffalo. He made all 7 kicks. Today, the Bears' sizable lead. It hasn't shown up yet, but he's had a rough afternoon here. Missing 4. Stafford. Sideline throw and incomplete. Marvin Jones the target, no flags. Sherrick McManus was back there covering here.
Comes across formation in motion, and a little bit of a wheel route right there. Just nice transition with the coverage. You can see them passing the receivers as they go through the zones.
Extra defensive backs in, and so Cohen is back to receive the punt, standing at the 30. And a good kick backs him up to the 21 of Chicago. Cohen weaving his way up across the 35, just short of the 40. Another strong return after a 54-yard punt. So here comes Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears offense, leading 26-10. On this Veterans Day and Salute to Service weekend around the NFL, we thank our servicemen and women, past and present, for all they have done, are doing, and will do. Fans in attendance enjoying this game, thanks for being a part of the NFL on Fox. The pregame show outstanding from Fort Benning, with military enjoying some football with the guys.
Buccaneer. Sunday.
Trubisky incomplete for Cohen. And what a jump from, he had 5 starts last year. We mentioned this is his 21st NFL start overall, obviously working through this season in having a head coach who's offensive minded and Matt Nagy in his own progression.
Absolutely. You can see the growth, and I do believe that it helps when you've got that offensive minded head coach that's supporting you from that background and just the decision making, the situational elements of the game. There's a different perspective from an offensive minded head coach, and I think that Mitchell Trubisky is really very fortunate to be in the position he's in with Matt Nagy.
2 touchdown passes and 1 on the ground. Here comes a flag. He was trying to get to Robinson once again. Lawson was on the coverage. And we're going to get this call.
Holding, defense, number 24, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Has been a tough afternoon for Nevin Lawson. You see right here going up against Allen Robinson. And just a great route runner. Watch him go underneath to get back outside, and Nevin Lawson has nothing to do but grab a hold and try and prevent him.
And Robinson, when we talked about the progress that Trubisky has made, they add him and Taylor Gabriel. They draft Anthony Miller, upgrade that receiving core. Again, Kevin White, the 7th overall pick, inactive. As Trubisky sets to throw and dumps it off to Jordan Howard. Gets near a first down around the 46 of Detroit. When we asked Matt Patricia, too, about what kind of defense or what style, and he said, hey, you got to ask that right away. He said, well, usually you start out with nickel because that's what we play 85% of the time. That's what today's game is.
Yeah, it's not really the 3-4 defense or the 4-3 anymore. It's a base nickel defensive package that you're putting in, going up against all these offenses that are rolling out 3 wide receivers and making an emphasis like you talked about.
Extra defensive backs, and today that defense has been sliced and diced by this Bears team, although the Bears have not run the ball with great success against this Lions defense. But they haven't needed to. There's the Lions defensive coordinator, Paul Pasqualoni, who was in New England, and Matt Patricia does not call the defensive plays. He wants Pasqualoni doing it.
Madden.
Hey, 40.
Madden. Hey.
Larry.
Hey, run. No, you're good. Lady.
Second down, 8. Trubisky. Deep sideline throw and over the head. Quinn was back there. Taylor Gabriel was the target. Let's get another game break and check in with Mike Hill.
Hey, Saints hammering the Bengals today, guys. Drew Brees over the top on 4th and goal. New Orleans has had 7 possessions. They've scored TDs on 6 of them and a field goal on the other. Saints on their way to 8 in a row, 45-7 in the third. Chris and Moose.
Thank you, Mike. And the division leaders, the Redskins, right now with a narrow lead down in Tampa Bay. Bears trying to push their record to 6-3. The Rams play later against the Seattle Seahawks.
Lady.
Trubisky, and it's knocked away from Miller. What a defensive play. It was almost intercepted. Miller had it in his hands, but Tracy Walker nearly took it out.
Talked about tight coverage by the Bears, tight coverage by the Lions on this one. Really nice job by Tracy Walker right there, staying with it.
Pat O'Donnell, somebody has to wake him up. It was his first punt, although he's been the holder today. First time the Bear offense has been forced to punt today. TJ Jones is back, standing inside the Detroit 10. O'Donnell, his 5th season. High kick and well played inside the 10. It'll eventually be down by the hustling Bears. The Bears takeaways and defense doing what it has done all season long. Now they just have to seal the deal and protect the lead and the victory.
And this is where the Bears pose a problem. Those 3 sacks were by 3 different guys. One guy from the secondary, one guy from the linebacker inside, and then Khalil Mack, an outside linebacker, but your edge rusher. And you go back and look at them, all the sacks that they've had this year, they've got over 12 guys with at least a full sack. So they're coming from different areas. Vic Fangio doing a great job of giving his guys, his defensive players that have the ability to rush the passer, opportunities for sacks.
And still shaping the defense that he would like to see. And Khalil Mack not 100% healthy and not 100% set in the defensive schemes of Vic Fangio, at least not as much as he'd like Mack to know. Blunt with a hole, but slow getting through it. And under 5 minutes to go, the Lions running the football here. They've run the ball 19 times. They've thrown it 18.
Again, I just think that that's going to help them in the long run. And we always seem to panic a little bit more. It's a 2-possession game. It's 16 points right now. So 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, plenty of time. I know you've stumbled around here this afternoon, but the games that they've not performed well in, they just have been such a heavy pass team, and they've gotten out of sync.
Stafford has time. And on the run, floats it for Galladay, and nothing. He was well covered. Kyle Fuller, who has 4 interceptions for the team this year, was back there.
That's a great job by the Bears secondary. That's a long time to stay in coverage, and when Matthew Stafford is able to break contain right there, you expect somebody that has adjusted their route and should be open, but still tight coverage by Kyle Fuller.
And I know, Stafford had a chance probably to run for the first down on 3rd and 5. His view of this offense was, we've run the ball better this year, but we lack the big plays. No opportunity for a big play there. Extra pressure is picked up for the moment, but he had to hurry his throw and was hit as he let it go by Leonard Floyd. It's 4th down.
Now you got Leonard Floyd getting into it way up here at the top, coming up from a stand-up position, pushes upfield. Now he's coming back inside, unable to pass that game back down.
Sam Martin, who was hit the last time defending his punt when they punted to the Bears, back his own goal line. And a kick that bounces and rolls towards midfield. That's where the Lions will down it. No chance for a Cohen return. Saturday, the road to the college football playoffs continues. Shea Patterson and the Wolverines going up against Indiana. That's on FS1. And then in prime time, Kyler Murray and Oklahoma, the Sooners, go up against Kansas on Fox. You can always catch it on the Fox Sports app. With Daryl Johnston, Laura Oakman down on the field. Chris Myers here. James Petralka helping to spot in the booth, a proud Michigan alum. Our associate director, Sharad Devasker, the Fight King. We have Wynn Bernfeld helping us up here, operate the camera.
Somewhere up here.
Somewhere up here. I think he's down line enjoying the game.
40, Ron!
Ready! What's that?
Trubisky is throwing. And catching is Trey Burton inside the 30 of Detroit.
Really nice ball security by Trey Burton, because there's an opportunity for Tavon Wilson as he comes off of his guy. He's going to go after and try and strip the ball. Watch right here as 32 comes in from the outside, tries to punch that out. Good job of understanding how important that possession is. Secure that catch.
And a 24-yard gain, so Trubisky is over 300 yards passing today. His career high is 354. That was part of that 6-touchdown game against the Buccaneers.
What's that?
52.
Ready! What's that?
Allen Robinson, and he's going to go in for a Chicago touchdown. "26 yards, second touchdown catch today for Allen Robinson. And his 4th of the season. Bears are going to go for 2 after missed extra points, and when the fans saw that, they cheered. So at least we're not going to hear the sound of the ball hitting the upright.
You can't do it 5 times.
6-1. 6-1.
Michael Burton, the fullback,
79. Wait for the whistle.
with Trubisky. Jordan Howard splits in as a kind of a slot receiver inside of Trey Burton at the bottom of your screen. Trubisky, it's a slam dunk for 2. Burton has it. And somebody has a nice souvenir.
Well, we talked at the top. Khalil Mack has been out of the lineup for 2 weeks. Allen Robinson's been out of the lineup for 2 weeks. Here he is right here. He's making the biggest homecoming, and you've got to get him a little bit of help. There's only 4 guys rushing in that situation. So why Nevin Lawson is in straight man-to-man with no help. There's no deep safety help. It's not man under. I mean, it's just straight man. I don't understand why what he's done to you to this point today. You wouldn't have a little bit of help for Nevin Lawson as he goes up against Allen Robinson.
And Trubisky excited. They convert for the first time on a 2-point conversion in their first 2-point try this year. And that looked easy to Burton.
Got away with a little shove there, maybe.
Yeah, that's what the Lions were talking to the official about, but it wasn't called. As for Robinson, here's to you, Mr. Robinson. 5 catches, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And there's that element that's a part of this offense now. It's not the West Coast that was out there when I played, that came out of San Francisco. Andy Reid has really kind of taken that offense and shifted the thought process.
Jones out of bounds around the 20-yard line. When you talk about big pass plays, 20 yards or more, or big offensive plays, the Bears have 8 today. The Lions, Darryl, just have 1, and now they're desperate to try and play catch-up. The bottom team chasing the top team in the NFC North.
And why does everybody think those are so important in your offense? It's because it's really hard to go 10, 12, 14 plays down the field without some type of mistake, a holding penalty, a false start. There's things that can derail you, and when you get those big chunk yards, it eliminates that strain that you have to go all the way down the field play after play.
Stafford has missed his last 5 passes after it looked like the Lions came out in the second half and could get close, and now he's going to get sacked. And Leonard Floyd, a sigh of relief. He has his first sack this season and his first in a long time, and the fans here that have been on him a little bit are applauding.
Yeah, but he stayed with it. He's continued to work. Coming from that right side again in that stand-up spot. Very athletic. And the one thing that he's been trying to do is beat everybody with speed. He's got great speed, but he's got to add that counter. He's got to be able to shift from speed to power. Pretty good right there with a little inside spin move.
And for him going back to November of last year, but for the Bears, 4th sack of this game. Incomplete. Michael Roberts the target. And now it's going to be 3rd down.
It just seems like everything is so much harder for Detroit. I mean, every yard they earn is well earned, where Chicago's just out here and guys are wide open down the middle of the field, and 8 explosive plays during the course of the game. But every single thing that Detroit does offensively is challenged very tightly by Chicago's defense.
And the difference is Floyd celebrates in the top team in the division and the bottom team. Despite the Lions having had won 3 straight against the Bears and 9 of the last 10, as Matt Nagy said, we're making our own history now this year. This time he has time, has to go underneath. Riddick puts a move on, and a good move to get to the 35, but short of the first down.
And that's one of the other things. You saw how many Bears were converging on Theo Riddick when he had the football. That's one of the other reasons they're so good at taking the football away. There's opportunities for second hits. If the ball does come loose, they've got their guys around it to recover it. I liked what Vic Fangio said. We're not aggressive in our philosophy, we're aggressive in our style. He doesn't send a lot of guys in blitz packages, but there's certain things during the course of the play that they're very aggressive at. We've seen them punch the ball out, very tight coverage to challenge the throws.
Lions going for it on 4th and 2 from their own 35, trailing by 24. Stafford can run for it and does, gets the first down going across the 40-yard line.
As a former baseball player, you'd think he'd be a little bit better at sliding. Don't you think, Chris? Watch this slide.
Yeah, for a guy who played baseball with Clayton Kershaw when he was younger.
I don't think you slide like that in baseball.
Well, they made, the new head first. Any way you give yourself up, it's over in a hurry. Maybe he was thinking that way rather than trying to get his legs out in front of him. He just wanted to get the first down, and Stafford does. 35 seconds and counting left in the 3rd quarter. Stafford, deep throw, he's got him, and tipped away. Here comes a flag. Marvin Jones was open, looking back for the football, and Fuller was back there. Check the flag as Marvin Jones is limping.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down, Detroit.
Illegal contact, so anything set 5 yards down the field, it's a double move, so he sells them right there. There's the contact. Gets beat on that little stutter and go.
And that may have been the difference. So the Bears, who had 14 penalties last week in the win up in Buffalo, have only been caught for 4 today. The officials discussing something here, halting play. They're talking to Bryce Callahan. And Callahan coming to the Bears sideline. And it looks like if they take him into the blue tent, it may be, to get help from the certified trainer who's watching. They send down a signal that, hey, we may have seen something. Just want to make sure. So checking for concussion, at least that's the view from here.
Yeah, and if not from upstairs, also your teammates on the field. The teammates on the field will go to the official. Hey, can you check out Bryce? I think he might have a little ding.
Straight ahead, it's Kerryon Johnson, short of midfield, fresh set of downs after that defensive penalty. And with Callahan out, Bears having to go with extra defender in. And clock running here. They're going to try and snap it before the third quarter runs out. Extra pressure delay picked up and incomplete. And that'll bring an end to the quarter. With Marvin Jones out, Brandon Powell was the target. So we've been through 3 in Chicago. The Bear defense doing what it has to do to protect a 34-10 lead. With producer Fran Morrison and director Brian Lilly, Daryl Johnson, Laura Oakman, Chris Mars. Our whole crew have had really an enjoyable weekend here in Chicago. A little bit of snow on Friday, cool, chilly temperatures, but blue skies today, and a terrific performance from the Bears against their NFC North rivals as we start the fourth quarter. Midfield, Stafford facing a 3rd and 6 for Galladay, and he holds on. And at the last moment, it was Kyle Fuller who pushed him, and out when he went out of bounds, looked like he lost control of the football.
Yeah, he's going to the ground, so he has to maintain possession all the way through the process. So 1 foot down, 2 feet down. He's got possession, but he goes to the ground and then loses possession.
And that was the Fuller aggression, not giving up on the catch. So now they have to go on 4th down. They are 2 for 2 on 4th down today. Stafford's quick pass is caught for a 1st down by Michael Roberts, the tight end. And he's ailing. Also, Kerryon Johnson slow to get up. He looks like he's hurting. And Callahan has come back out, so he obviously cleared whatever they were checking him for, because he's back on the field for the Bears as Khalil Mack now comes to the Chicago sideline.
Michael Roberts was one of those guys. I mean, had a really nice game against Miami. Went back and watched, the games where Detroit played well and won, and he was one of the guys that jumped out at you in that Miami game. And boy, and there's the other one. I mean, Kerryon Johnson had a great game that day against Miami. So 2 of the guys that I felt needed to be a part of this game for this offense to really start to get into a rhythm, hurt on the exact same play.
And the rookie Johnson, the leading rusher in this game. And as we mentioned, Callahan back in. He's made some big plays for this Bears defense today. Mitchell Trubisky over 330 yards, 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. The Lions have been playing catch up from the opening bell.
4 down, 4 down. Tag 59. Let's shoot. 59.
After another 4th down conversion, Stafford. The ball's loose as he goes down back at the 45 of Detroit. Bilal Nichols has been battling a knee injury, forced him into the awkward move.
And that's one of the things that this front can do. They've got the big bodies inside. We talk about Leonard Floyd and Khalil Mack on the outside, but you've got Akeem Hicks inside. You've got Bilal Nichols. You can put some big bodies in there and push that center of the pocket right back into Matthew Stafford's lap.
Stafford lucky to hang out of the football after a loss of 12. It's a screen to Riddick, who's trying to shoot past the Bears defense, and he does, spinning to the 40. Still going to be about 6 or 7 yards short of a 1st down before Trevathan brought him down.
But that was executed very well.
Well, this Lions team, told you they already let go of their special teams coach, Joe Marciano. They cut former second round pick running back Amir Abdullah, who had signed with the Lions. They've made changes through the course of the season under Matt Patricia, trying to get their 4th win of the year against a team that they have done well with recently, but not today. Stafford is sacked again, and it's Mack on the attack.
And this is the combination of your rush and your coverage. The rush gets credit for the sack. Watch Khalil Mack work the whole time because he's got great coverage down the field, just drives Taylor Decker back. That's the problem with Khalil Mack. He's so athletic and can move around you, but he's got such great power to run right over you.
I mean, Mack is he's like a Chuck Norris, Liam Neeson, you know, all rolled into one. Wherever, however, you try and block him. That's his 6th sack of this season. Remember, he missed the last couple of games. And the Bears defense keeping the pressure on Stafford, who goes deep. And is that another takeaway? It is. Prince Amukamara with the interception. Pressure up front. Next play, an interception by the Bears. And on a 4th down, interception on a throw that maybe Amukamara could have let that go.
Yeah, it's something Vic Fangio, it's a coaching point, right? You got 4th down way out by midfield, and yeah, this takeaway thing is becoming infectious for this Bears defense. Everyone wants an opportunity. A smarter play right there by Prince Amukamara would have been to knock that ball down, give your offensive ball out towards midfield instead of backed up inside your 5.
The Bears have run for only 38 yards. You would think here in the 4th quarter,
you would think
Jordan Howard, but Nagy's an aggressive play caller. Low snap. They do get it to Jordan Howard, who gets up near the 10-yard line. We talked earlier about the lengthy play calls. There's a lot to not only remember and do on the offense in this Chicago offense, but to say.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that Bears fans have to understand. This is a very wordy offense. Here's an example. Green right, nasty. Y right spin, fake 99 crack boss. Naked right fullback slide, kill running.
Wow.
So that's your play coming in from the huddle. I mean, Matt Nagy even said we had to shorten some of them down because getting that into Mitchell Trubisky and then having him get it into the huddle was taking too long. So he's starting to learn that. But this is his first year in the system where those are some of the typical play calls that you have to memorize.
Yeah, some of those are as many as 21 words, those plays. And now he's throwing from his own goal line and overthrows. And the rest of the team has to know, right? The running backs, receivers have to know exactly where to go, where to be on that kind of a play.
Yeah, very different from the offense I was in. We were a number tree for passing routes. We were words with run. This is words that do the concepts. And Matt actually took me through that whole play and kind of showed me with the kill and the run it and what happens. And it's very complicated. And, you know, we've talked about his command at the line of scrimmage. We've heard Mitchell tell us, you know, I feel so much more comfortable. Everybody has to understand this is year one. And Matt said next year in training camp, now we start tailoring the offense towards Mitchell's strengths.
They're only going to get better. And Trubisky, hope you saw him on the NFL on Fox, the pregame show. Enjoyed the conversation with the young quarterback who's in trouble here and probably should have gotten out of the end zone as Deshaun Hand got a sack. And let's check the spot.
Let's see where he was. Was he outside and driven into the end zone, or was he in the end zone?
It's where the ball is, whether they determine a safety or not. And initially, I think they're going to put him right on the goal line.
Yeah, they've got him placed inside the 1-yard line, and this is going to be hard for the punt team out there. Pat O'Donnell.
We're going to get a challenge here from the Lions and Matt Patricia on that spot. He's going to say that should be a safety. Let's see. Ruled down but not a safety and challenged by the Lions.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field. Timeout.
We'll take a closer look. We'll check with our rules analyst, get Daryl's thoughts on this in just a moment. Deshaun Hand gets his 3rd sack of the season, but doesn't get the safety even after the challenge. It looked like, in their eyes, the official said not enough to overturn it.
Yeah, and I agree. It's hard to see when that knee goes down, where was the ball in relation to the end line, to the goal line.
It looked like the ball was on the goal line, which would have made it a safety, but not overturned. Down to 1 timeout now after the Lions lose that challenge. So O'Donnell has the challenge from his own end zone and gets it out of there in a hurry. TJ Jones from midfield. And he gets inside the 40 to the 39 of Chicago. Let's bring in, let's see, is there a flag down? Looks like there is. We're going to get to Dean Blandino, our rules analyst, watching from Los Angeles. He used to sort these things out for the NFL, watching with us. And Dean, what did you think?
Yeah, so the key is the ruling on the field was that progress was stopped in the field of play, meaning the entire ball was in the field of play when Trubisky was first contacted. And you look at that shot down the line, if any part of that football is touching the plane of the goal line when he's first contacted, it's a safety. Too close to change it, I agree. They have to let that stand. But again, it's progress. It's not where he's down. It's where he's first contacted.
All right, thank you, Dean. And as you clarified, too, just like a touchdown, right? Any part of breaking the play in that ball, that's the clear area. We had a penalty here that backed up. It was a hold against the Lions on that punt, as Dean was giving us a further explanation. So a first down from just inside their 49-yard line. Pass is caught. It's Riddick, and down the sideline he goes, out of bounds around the 33 of Chicago.
And this defense, Matthew Stafford told us about it. You know what? The offense has improved. They're explosive, but that defense is as good as it's ever been. And really, you look at what they're doing this season, maybe the best it's been in quite some time. That is really, really impressive in what they're doing, taking the football away, pressuring the quarterback, and then really what they're doing with it once they get that back to their offense. Their offense is making it cash in.
Yeah, and listening to Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, I think they're going to be even better, and they're still building and growing as Stafford is on the run. And when you think about this team, the Bears are the only team this year who has not started. There's Vic Fangio, the veteran defensive coordinator, but they're the only team that has not started a player over the age of 30 in any game this year. They're a relatively young team.
And that was one of the things I think Matt Nagy wanted to see with their performance is how are they going to respond as these games continue to get bigger and bigger. And Ryan Pace has put together a pretty young roster here, and I think everybody's excited to see how these guys are going to start to play into late November, early December as these games become more and more important.
Pace inherited one of the oldest teams, made the coaching change this year, obviously trading up to get Trubisky. Catch made there by Jones. And Laura?
Well, I want to talk about also, we're talking about the aggressiveness and the looseness that we're seeing from both sides of this team, and that's not by accident. Matt Nagy showed the team a clip last night of the Jets defense a few years back. They were all dancing together during a timeout. He told the team, this is what it should look like. We have expectations right now. That can make you play tight. Don't. I want swag. I want confidence. I want to see fun.
And the Bears, the only team in the top 5 in points scored and in points allowed. Defense, as a flag goes down, Riddick knocked down around the 11-yard line.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 99. Half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down for Detroit.
That's on Aaron Lynch, who had some issues last week up in Buffalo.
Yeah, had a celebration after a sack last week coming from that right side. And down around the knees of Matthew Stafford.
Well, it's an aggressive defense, just like the offense. We've seen Leonard Floyd get his first sack of the season in this game. Last week, Floyd had the interception return for a touchdown. And after the penalty, Stafford with a chance for the end zone. Touchdown Lions! Kenny Golladay from Chicago and St. Rita High School on the receiving end of 6. And Stafford saying we're going for 2.
Going to be an opportunity for Matt Nagy to really kind of talk to his team about finish again. You know, they should be fine here with a final score, but you know, the decision by Prince Amukamara to have that interception to put his offense in a tough spot, just avoided having the safety, gives the Lions the ball back on a short field. They go right down the field for a touchdown. So again, more teaching opportunities for Coach Nagy.
Bears converted their 2-point conversion. Stafford on the run. And nothing. 34-16 with 8.5 minutes left as Stafford gets shuffled around. But he does get the touchdown toss. And it's 34-16. Bears have the good hands people up just in case there's an onside kick here by the Lions as we look at the numbers so far for Trubisky and Matthew Stafford. Trubisky will have a chance after being nailed at the goal line there, surviving a safety. Let's see how the Lions play this. And there comes a flag, and knocked out of bounds by Anthony Miller. It's like a right fielder throwing it into the home plate as a second flag comes in. But one was right away when Sam Martin kicked the ball.
Can't bat it forward, right?
Well, as an offense, I don't know if you consider that you're the receiving team, so that may have been the reason for the second flag. Yeah, and it cannot be batted forward. I think he was trying to go out of bounds sideways, but it went forward the way Miller hit it. Anthony Miller's had a good game, 4 catches, over 100 yards and a touchdown. It's like a convention here of officials.
Got hats missing, throwing hats, throwing flags.
And a head shake from Matt Patricia.
There were fouls by each team on the play. Illegal batting, receiving team, number 17. Illegal formation, kicking team. Those penalties offset. We'll re-kick.
So here's my thing, right? If we're really talking about safety on the onside kick, we should never re-kick an onside kick if it's not executed. And I know obviously both teams fouled on each side, but I got stuck one time. I did 3 of these in a row because of penalties calling back. I finally had a conversation with the official and I said, why are we continuing to do this when they're not executing the play? Because you bring up a good point, young man.
If it's kicked out of bounds, you don't have to sweat that, but your chances already, they're less than 10% for the team to recover the onside kick, and even less this year. They've gone down quite a bit with the newer rules, the safety adjustments for the kickoff teams, and especially when teams know it's coming. The percentages dropping by quite a bit. Now this time they're trying it again. And the Lions have a shot at it, and Detroit recovers it. Even with the Bears ready and expecting, Martin booted that in the right direction, and it looked like Ballore.
Charles Washington was the guy that made the play on it, though. He's the guy that kept it from going out of bounds. You know, kind of dove and got it to stay in bounds.
And Nick Ballore was the one who recovered for the new special teams coach of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, there's Charles Washington, 45, that keeps it from going out of bounds. A good hustle by Nick Ballore to get the recovery.
Well, you can tell the Lions have worked on that.
And not a great kick, right? It stayed down low. That's usually an easier one to field. You're looking for that one that takes that big hop up. So
and stayed in bounds.
Tag 59, tag 59.
3 possession, 3 score kind of game for where the Lions are sitting. Under 8.5 to go from inside the 40 of Chicago. Knocked away. Powell was the target. Jackson kept him from catching it.
Yeah, one of those guys that, you know, we've sat here, we've talked about, you know, Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks, the guys up front, Leonard Floyd getting his first sack playing. Well, I tell you, Eddie Jackson the last 2 weeks has really jumped out at me as a guy there at the safety position. Great timing on his coverage coming up. The knockaway ball is very explosive. He's one of the guys that has a defensive touchdown this year for the Bears.
Rookie Roquan Smith has 9 tackles in this game. Stafford incomplete. Coverage was good. There's Kyle Fuller back there. And Kenny Golladay, who had the touchdown a moment ago, the target. And
39 is cruising through the center of the field again. I mean, almost had an opportunity for an interception there as well.
Now the Cleveland Browns did beat the Atlanta Falcons. And there's a couple of upsets brewing. The Titans lead the Patriots 34-10 in the fourth quarter. Buffalo leads the Jets 38-10 in the fourth quarter. And here it's 34-16. Stafford threw as the receiver broke to the other side. It was Golladay. And now it's 4th down.
Just a good game plan by Vic Fangio. You know you're going to have to help out with Khalil Mack back here, and you want to protect your edges. So you're going to keep a running back in to just make sure that's shored up. And they're playing some man on the running backs, and as soon as those running backs stay in on protection, they're releasing the linebackers to continue on to the quarterback.
Marvin Jones, remember, limped off. He hasn't been back. They've been playing Brandon Powell at the receiver spot, a rookie from Florida. 3 out of 4 today on 4th down for the Lions. Stafford's throw in between. Galladay leaps, hauls it in, and makes a great catch, staying inbounds and holding onto the football between two Bears.
I just don't know what happened to him over the last 3 games. Just 7 targets, and we've seen what he's done here this afternoon. He's kind of getting back into that rhythm, having a great day. That's 6 catches for 78 yards now for Kenny Galladay.
The most of any receivers in this game.
Great size on the outside.
At 6'4", a pickup on that one of 25 yards, and they're checking his lower right leg. Thin at receiver at the moment. Kerryon Johnson to the end zone. Touchdown Lions. A delay flip, and he just glided in. A 13-yard touchdown catch for the rookie running back who had a touchdown run earlier in this game. Failed on their last 2-point conversion, but if they make good here, they can get to within 10 with 7:21 remaining.
One, yes. Tag 58. 58. Ready. Luigi. Lisa.
Quick pass for 2. And the Bears at the goal line. No. It was Galladay again trying to get in, and you thought he could just kind of lean over with the football. But the Bears kept him out of it.
Really nice job right here. So let's watch Frank Ragnow. He's going to be the guard. Watch him come out. Watch him track 59. 59's in coverage on the screen. Comes out, gets the key block right there. There's nobody there. Kerryon Johnson is giving a little shove to Kenny Wiggins to get him out of the way so he can get into the end zone.
And then the Bears defense toughening here on the 2-point try. Oh, that's how close it was.
Yeah. Really nice job. We've seen them a couple of times, whether it's been a first down or down near the goal line, where the Bears defense is really prevented. And the biggest thing is that ball carrier just has to spin and extend it, and they haven't allowed him to do that.
They didn't even have a position to try, or a chance to try that given his position. Stafford thought it was good from his point of view. 12-point lead for Matt Nagy and the Bears. Again, the Lions just have that one timeout after the onside kick. Offsetting penalties gave them a second try, and they were able to grab it. See how they play this one.
Real nice job by the Bears defense on these last 2-point plays after the touchdowns.
Yeah, think about that. You could have a 34-26 game if the Lions were able to convert those, and then it's just a 1 score. For Detroit, a touchdown and maybe a 2-point conversion. I think Patricia wants to know if he can challenge that 2-point conversion. That's his last time out. He missed on one challenge earlier.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field that the extra point was no good.
Or the 2-point conversion, the 2 extra points.
I understand Matt Patricia's thinking right now. It's Kenny Galladay. He's a big guy. He's down on the goal line. You know, how does he stay out? Great job by Bryce Callahan right there. But look at all the guys coming in. There's Roquan Smith again. And because he's got his back to the goal line, he can't spin that ball.
But that ball looks like it touches or has crossed the line, and see the official on the other side can see it.
But you're going to have that same official in the position on ours, looking down the same line that we're looking at right there. And again, I think this is going to be very similar to that safety call. It's going to have to stay
because
as ruled on the field because you don't. Yeah, there's just not anything there. But it's a great job. Look at how many Bear defenders are there.
Yep.
You know, hustling to the ball. Not a lot. He's a big receiver. The opportunity to kind of spin and break the plane.
Dean Blandino, you're watching on this, and maybe it depends on a camera angle. What's your thought?
Yeah, I think we've got a great look down the line, and similar to the previous challenge, if any part of that ball breaks the plane, the try is good. I just don't see enough to change this. It's very close. There's a lot of bodies in the way. He turns away from the goal line. To me, this has to stand.
Now, if it was ruled the other way, would there be enough or you'd still say leave it?
Exactly. When the ruling on the field stands, that means you don't have definitive evidence either way. So regardless of what the ruling on the field is, you just can't change it.
And that's the way it looks after further review. Frustration for the Lions.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is short of the goal line. Detroit is charged with his final timeout, and they have no more challenges remaining.
We appreciate Dean Blandino, as always, right on target with his review and assessment. And as noted by our referee, no more timeouts for the Lions. We'll have the 2-minute warning. So now, would you onside kick this? Would you kick it deep?
Do it again. It's a 2-possession game with 7:21 left. Yeah, you just got one back. I don't think you have a lot of choices here. A different style.
It's going to roll around. It's a live ball. And the Bears are on it around the 22-yard line as Tariq Cohen smothers it for Chicago. Thursday night, Aaron Rodgers. I know fans of the NFC North will watch a little closer as he leads the Packers into Seattle to take on Russell Wilson of the Seahawks. 7:30 Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, streaming on Prime Video. It's Thursday night NFL football. Remember asking Mitchell Trubisky as we look at the NFC North, I said, do you feel like you have to outperform Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins to win this division? And, paraphrasing, but he essentially said, no, I have to do what I do best with this team. I know we have a great defense. I know we have a support staff. And we're in a good position right now as they lead the division. And today, different than the last couple of games with the Jets and Bills, Trubisky lit it up.
Yeah, a great second half. We touched on that at the top. Great response in the second half against the Jets, but it was all defense last week against the Bills. They put Mitchell Trubisky in the offense in great position, but that wasn't the case today. This offense came out, played really well. Great to have Allen Robinson back. Anthony Miller stepped up with a 100-yard game as well. Now, here's where I want to see the full component of this offense. This is Jordan Howard time right now. And this offense has always been based on putting up points throughout the first 3 quarters of the game to build your lead and then running it in the fourth quarter to secure the win. Can they execute that portion?
They're throwing here, and what a catch by Allen Robinson. Taylor Gabriel, by the way, has no catches. He was the deep threat when Robinson was out the last couple of games. And maybe the reason that Trubisky is having to throw is that the Bears have run for only 41 yards today against a team that was giving up over 140 on the ground.
Yeah, over 142 yards per game. A couple of big games the last few weeks as well, and they've done a nice job here, the Lions have, of stuffing that run by the Bears. So this is an area where they've got to get a little bit better on. You can't stay aggressive the entire time. It's sometime you have to take time off that clock during the course of the game.
Trubisky has time, and he can run. He's done that today. And there he goes for a first down and sliding to stay in bounds just short of the 40-yard line.
He's like a running back with his vision and his patience. Watch how calm he stays here in the pocket. He'll step and move, and then he'll react to the defender. He doesn't panic. He doesn't rush. He doesn't push it. Once he sees the opening in the rush lanes, then he explodes through like a running back does through a running lane.
He's run for a touchdown today. He was telling me, Daryl, that it energizes him to run. When he runs, it allows him to be a little bit more like he feels more a part of the game. Feels like he's throwing it a little bit better.
Demoralizing to a defense. Absolutely demoralizing to a defense when you give up a third down run for a first down to a quarterback.
He picked up 8. That's his average. He's run for over 300 yards this year. And a carry by Jordan Howard. Let's get a game break from Mike Hill.
All right, fellas, look at what's happening in Nashville. Titans and Pats. Derrick Henry, 10-yard TD, his second touchdown of the game. He only had 2 coming in. And Tennessee ending the Pats' 6-game winning streak, 34-10. Chris Moose.
Thank you. What a shocker that is, coming off a Monday night win, a short week against the Cowboys. Bears leading by a dozen here. They have led from the start. Lions moving the ball a little bit better here in the second half, producing touchdowns. Howard to the 40.
One of the things as a head coach, when you have success, people are going to come and take coaches off your staff. So there's the Bill Belichick coaching tree. All the guys that have left and gone out and had their opportunities.
Mike Vrabel played for him, of course, head coach at the Titans. Not a lot, Bill O'Brien, a winning record, but the rest of those guys, not a lot of success on overall record.
But this season, Matt Patricia and Mike Vrabel knocking off their old coach during the course of the season. Patricia and the Lions beating the Patriots, the Packers, and the Dolphins this year.
Ready?
Trubisky open. Miller with a first down at the 46 of Detroit. And a flag down. A gain of 15, and that should put Trubisky over 350 yards.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 17. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. It'll be 1st and 10 for Chicago.
Exuberant youth after the catch in his excitement. Anthony Miller.
Yeah, just the response to the big game. We talked about it. They're a young group. Matt Nagy interested to see how they respond in these types of situations. That's how, kind of get to the no fun league every once in a while. The fans are booing here.
What would you tell your children? A teaching moment.
Teaching moment. Teach them. Hey, it's an emotional game, but you got to maintain them. Understand the rules. Don't follow up a good play with something bad.
And Jordan Howard knocked down. We welcome those of you tuning in from Soldier Field with Laura Oakman on the field. Daryl Johnston and Chris Myers here, our entire crew. And Mitchell Trubisky, a career high, the second-year quarterback, 355 yards passing. He's run for a touchdown and thrown for 3 in this game today. The Bears defense with 3 takeaways. And they also have 6 sacks. Built up a strong lead and have been coasting here in the second half, although aggressive on the play calling with under 3 minutes to go. The leaders of the NFC North protecting their turf, about to push their record to 6-3. Howard carries again. The Vikings are idle. Extra shoving going on there. And the Packers will play the Dolphins a little bit later on, as the Bears have this meeting, Minnesota next Sunday night, and then a short turnaround Thanksgiving in Detroit.
And that was one of the big things that they had to get fixed. They haven't played really well in the division over the last few years. You go back and kind of look at them since 2013, just 6-25 within the division.
And that'll take us to the 2-minute mark as the Bears have the upper hand in this one over the Detroit Lions. Well, there's a reason the Bears lead the NFC North division. The defense doing its job. Trubisky, a career high. 3 touchdown passes and running for 1, and keeping Stafford from keeping his string alive. The Bears, 10 straight losses within the division, about to come to an end. Their last win in division was when they beat the Vikings in 2016.
Ready? We're set. Ready? We're set.
Howard carries. The return of Allen Robinson at receiver after missing 2 games. He has 6 catches, 133 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. And the return of Khalil Mack on defense with 5 tackles, including a couple of sacks. And the Bears are sailing here.
The big thing is, though, during those 2 weeks when Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson were out of the lineup, the Bears won both of those games. They found ways very different in how they beat the Jets and how they beat the Bills. So this is a team you got to keep your eye on. And you mentioned teams at the top. And everybody's talking about the Saints and the Rams and the NFC. This is a complete team. They've got a big conversation with Cody Parker that needs to be talked about. That's the one area today where you've missed 2 extra points, you've missed 2 field goals. In a tight game like that could really be costly for the Chicago Bears. So that was really the one negative that we've walked away here this afternoon.
Cody Parkey, if you weren't with us earlier, he hit the upright and missed the kick 4 times. You can see this and hear it. Extra points 2. Field goals 2.
believe it or not, those are all 4 different kicks. That is not a continual highlight. Unbelievable.
But if you're a half glass full kind of guy, at least he's close. 2 kicks made out of 6 attempts. That includes the extra points and field goals. Could be trouble down the road for this Bears team. Nobody back to receive the punt of O'Donnell. Lions are out of timeouts. And an excellent kick. Does it stay? And no. Touchback. I mean, that close. We've had a few plays right on the goal line from 2-point conversions to safeties. And Khalil Mack, Ryan Pace made the deal to trade for him when there were issues with the Raiders, and the Bears welcomed him with open arms.
And one of the big things that happened today is it wasn't just Khalil Mack getting the sacks himself, but he was allowing the linebackers to come free because running backs were staying in to ensure protection was there. And if you had that player in man-to-man coverage, then you were just added to the rush. So we saw Roquan Smith with a sack. We saw Danny Trevathan come very close to having a sack.
Yeah, we were talking with Matthew Stafford. He said, yeah, this Bear defense, well, you got to worry about Mack. And, and then there's Hicks. And then there's Leonard Floyd. And he was naming 9 or 10 Bears. And he has seen them up close today. Incomplete for Kenny Golladay. Let's check in with Laura.
Chris, you guys have kept talking about how thin this receiving core is for the Lions. It just got thinner. Marvin Jones has not been out for the last couple of drives. That right knee kept him out. Tight end Michael Roberts was also ruled out with the shoulder injury.
Thank you. And Matt Patricia made the change this week with the special teams coach. They've made other moves, trading away Golden Tate. It appears as if the Lions are reshaping for the future in the middle of this season. It just comes off that way, whether they want to admit it or not, with the first-year head coach. Whereas with the Bears and Matt Nagy and their first-year head coach, it's a different deal.
Well, they were both able to keep one of their coordinators. You know, Matt Nagy comes in as an offensive guy, so he's gonna take over that side of the ball and bring his guys in. But he keeps Vic Fangio. You know, here's the schedule that's coming up. We've talked on. They've got 2 more here within the division, but this will be fun on 12-9. We've talked about them being under the radar. They'll get a big test there, and that was one of the things that Matt Nagy talked about. This is a young team. How do they respond to these big games? They're going to continue to get bigger as we get in towards the end of November, beginning of December.
Stafford completes to Johnson. One of the bright spots for the Lions has a touchdown run and catch. He had that unfortunate fumble when he was trying to get extra yards, but that's what the Bears do. They take it away. They have 24 this season already in Week 10. And the setup to Johnson, knocked down across the 34-yard line. State Farm postgame coming up after this. Again, hope you saw the pregame shows live from Fort Benning on our salute to service around the NFL and this Veterans Day weekend. More postgame coverage of some of the games from earlier in the day and updated highlights. The Titans did upset the Patriots, as you saw. The Jets losing again. And with the win for Chicago and the loss for Detroit, again, Vikings idle. This was only the second, as you can see, only second division game that the Bears have played after losing that heartbreaker to Green Bay to start the year. They were close against, obviously, the Packers, the Dolphins, a field goal. Maybe they could have won that game. The Patriots. But enough to lead the NFC North. That goes out of bounds to Brandon Powell. And the clock stops. Maybe time for one more play. Stafford, 42 pass attempts, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions today. And a handoff here that'll be the final play. Zach Zenner carries, and the Bears win behind a suffocating defense. And Trubisky, 23 of 30, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and a touchdown run. The string against division opponents, the string of losses comes to an end as Matt Nagy and the Bears knock off the Lions 34-22 to stay atop of the NFC North. For Daryl Johnston, Laura Oakman, I'm Chris Myers, our entire crew. Thanks for being a part of the NFL, and stick around. The State Farm postgame show and our crew from Fort Benning coming your way in a moment.